The state of humbleness or of humility is of the utmost importance in the spiritual path. When our spiritual guide was asked what is the most important quality for a spiritual seeker, he said clearly humility. When the ego comes in, yoga comes out, and when yoga comes in, the ego comes out. The state of humbleness involves the annihilation, let's say, of pride on one side and lust on the other side. The elimination of these two make the spiritual path very, very light. You can say that the rising or the spiritual ascension has two ingredients. One is the power of aspiration as expressed through spiritual practices and attitudes. Yes, so you long to grow spiritually, you long for God, you long for enlightenment, and that longing, when it's expressed as an attitude and in your practice, it lifts you up. And then there is the weight of self-importance. The heavier you are as self-importance, the slower you will rise, the bigger the aspiration you will need in order to rise. Some spiritual seekers, they are practicing. I met people who practice for 10 or 20 years, basically all day, having some kind of financial situation that doesn't require work, living on very little, and practicing 8, 10, 12 hours a day of Hatha Yoga, meditation, prayer, and still having very poor results. And other people practice 2-3 hours, some meditation. Oh, in what states and how? I recall meeting two of these people and just recalling the dialogues between them. Because one had a very big self-importance and that kept creating situations in life where everybody is serving him and being very self-occupied and proud and heavy. And therefore, even having aspiration, the aspiration could not lift him too high spiritually. Just a bit, because you're feeling some buzz there, having some astral projection, or something very mild as progress. And another person who is humble and pure in heart, having some aspiration, not necessarily as big as the other one, but doing some practice with it is very easy. You have the same size of a motor, and one of them is lifting up the hill a truck, and the other one is lifting up a hill a kite. You can just go zoom on the spiritual path. So humility is as important as spiritual aspiration. And this is why in monasteries you would clean the toilet for years. And I've cleaned toilets. And in the ashrams that you go, you don't understand. I'm an engineer, I'm a psychologist. Let me do something of meaning. No, clean the toilets, lift bricks, do something like that. And this reducing of self-importance, this willingness to take some insults, to turn the other cheeks, to not be praised for what you do. You make efforts and they are not seen. And yet you know you've done the right thing and you are at peace with that. All these are signs, indicators of humility. And once humility establishes, you feel somehow you need nothing. You don't deserve more than anyone else. You just don't. You're just you. And it's fine. And there's a peace, there's a serenity, there's a lightness of spirit. And in that lightness of spirit, if you make some spiritual effort and you have some longing, then that longing will take you very, very high. The very direct way of increasing humility is unmasking yourself. Unmasking yourself best would be with the help of a friend or someone that loves you and that's honest. And understanding, first of all, the mechanism of self-importance. We all somehow believe we deserve more than others. A little more or a lot more. But we live with that feeling and we somehow hide it. And the first step would be to look at it and say, wow, I believe I deserve more than others. So they close the lights and everybody takes the cookies. I'll take more. Everybody's hungry. I'll take more. I deserve more. It's just the ground. It comes with having an ego. Yeah, once you have an ego, you believe you deserve more than others. You believe you are more right than others, and so forth. So to really face that and to speak constantly with someone you love and to receive actual feedback on your actual defects as they are and to really face them. Pride appears and self-importance appears inside this dark gap, inside the shadows in which we don't really want to see how selfish we are. Yeah? It's like these biased newspapers. The Prime Minister does 10 crimes and 1 charity act, and all you see is the charity act in the newspaper. We've done 10 horrible mistakes and 1 good thing, and we were screwed over once. And we would just think about how we were screwed over and how great we were that time. We don't really contemplate. So facing ourselves in the mirror and really looking and really getting feedback would create a more and more real perspective of who we are. And gradually by studying our masks, we unmask ourselves. And it's not an easy process. And yet, it makes us lighter and lighter in the process. So cutting away these lies, they are very, very good. And living a life that is, or reading, for example, biographies of saints and people who are very humble, St. Francis of Assisi, Ramakrishna, Jesus Christ, Ramana Maharishi. You see, the soul is attracted to humility. If you read such biographies, there's something inside of you that says, yes, I had enough of this burden of self-importance. I want to be light as a bird. Nothing I want for myself. You will discover that there's a natural impulse inside of you. You are hungry. You are longing to be humble. You don't want to carry the burden anymore. And gradually to become aware how poisonous is self-importance, how poisonous is pride, how it suffocates us. Once you have moments of humility, a day of humility, take a retreat, be in silence a few days, very good for you. And then after a week of not seeing anyone, not talking to anyone, not being able to blame anyone, you're there alone, you feel a certain lightness of humility, and then suddenly you can meditate, suddenly you can pray, suddenly you can focus. It's so amazing, yeah? The weight of your self-importance has reduced, and suddenly your aspiration can take you so high spiritually. You come back, yeah? I can share from my experience. I come back from a retreat, I have my first fight with someone, a clash with someone. Who might that be? And I build my shell, and then everything gets so heavy again. And then, okay, this is the price that I pay for being so self-important. Okay. It's very profound, very strong programming. It's not something you snap your finger and it goes away. But okay, this is the price. This is what it costs me every day that I'm so full of myself. And then you have the aspiration, the longing to start peeling off your self-importance and doing gestures of real love.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.